Hello, my name is Zuzana Drugová. I am an ethnologist working for Metodické University Methodological Center for Slovaks living abroad. Our workplace is the only specialized in Slovakia focusing solely on activities in the surroundings of Slovaks living abroad. During active cooperation with various representatives of Slovak minorities abroad, we have identified several educational needs, and that is why the project Self-Identification in a Multi-Ethnic Surroundings as a resource of ethnic tolerance has been created. Project we call Ja Som, it means I am. Another partner of the project is the Department of Slovak Studies at the Faculty of Philosophy of the University of Novi Sad, Serbia, where my co-presenter works.
Good afternoon. My name is Jasna Uhlarikova, and I am a Slovak linguist living in Serbia. I work at the University of Novi Sad. Other partners of our project are Slovak Center for Culture in Našice, Croatia, as a representative of cultural spectrum, and Josef Kozáček Theoretical Lyceum in Budoj, Romania, as a school with Slovak as a teaching language. Choosing these partners, we have covered a wide range of institutions that work to the benefit of the Slovak minority abroad.
The project aims to create an output defining those elements of Slovak culture in minority surroundings that will contribute to the self-identification of its members with an emphasis on a positive perception of the otherness. As a result, there would be an increased degree of mutual tolerance in multi-ethnic surroundings. The primary target group includes members of minorities in the partnership countries such as Croatia, Romania and Serbia. This paper presents project results up to now, which confirm the role of the mother tongue as one of the most important elements of ethnicity. However, we consider language to be an integral part of culture, and language with culture are also the most important parts of ethnicity and ethnic identity. The reasons why our compatriots left their homeland go back to history and include several stages. In the 17th century, Europe was under control of the Ottoman Empire. By the end of this century, more than half of the Hungarian nobility was concentrated in the territory of today's Slovakia, which represented about 1/5 of Hungary. These were the reasons why after the defeat of the Ottoman troops, it was necessary to settle the abandoned and uncultivated land. Slovaks left their ethnic territory in the northern part of Hungary for deserted areas in the southern parts of the country. They said they were leaving for the lowlands. Today, the largest Slovak foreign enclave lives in several regions of the lowlands. Its parts are located in northern Serbia, northeastern Croatia, southern Hungary and southwestern Romania. However, I Am project also appeals to the inhabitants of areas settled several decades later. Today's northwestern Romania was peripheral area of the Kingdom of Hungary. The local forest areas were inhabited since the end of the 19th century from Slovak territories, where people were able to work in the forest, mines and glassworks. Slovaks living in Croatia came to the northeastern part of the country, especially in the second half of the 19th century. They were mainly Catholics. As the majority Croatian population has the same religion, several sources consider this fact as one of the reasons of the significant assimilation of the Slovak enclave in present-day Croatia. Migrants left the territory of today's Slovakia for Western Europe and overseas as well, usually after political and religious changes and for economic reasons. Since 1899, USA registered nationality of migrants, and that is why we know that during next 20 years, up to 1919, an incredible number of 480,000 Slovaks left for the USA. In the 18th century, there was a significant regional diversity in Slovakia. During the migration to the lowlands, diverse groups from different regions of Slovakia met together in the new settlements. However, under the influence of new conditions, the identification towards its origin region had stopped to be important, and the identification towards Slovakia as whole had become dominant. The newly created Slovak dialect had been formed as a result of intra-ethnic convergent processes. This dialect had become a determinative factor of consolidation and integration.
When Slovaks had came to the lowland, Slovak language had been mainly used in oral form. Slovak dialects in Serbia still keep some archaic elements of the Slovak language, but on the other hand, it must be said that in the new surroundings they had also acquired numerous innovations in relation to other Slovak language dialects. Their basis consists of originally Slovak dialects, which gradually mixed, crossed and influenced each other to such an extent that today's Slovak Vojvodina dialects have no equivalent in Slovakia. Nevertheless, they have many elements in common with the original Slovak dialects, according to which it is possible to determine from which dialect areas their bearers came.
Process of settlement in the lowlands had a multi-ethnic character. The condition for the formation of intra-ethnic contacts was mutual communication. Bilingualism had become a necessary condition in the lives of members of minority for their adaptation in a different ethnic surroundings. Thus there is a second form of syncretization in the minority communities in relation to the majority ethnic group. Therefore, we can briefly summarize the necessary order of 3 phases of development of each ethnic minority. In the initial periods, the dominant culture is the one of the mother's ethnic group, brought by members of the minority from Slovakia, where syncretism across various Slovak elements plays an important role. Next, in the new surroundings, members of the minority create a culture in the conditions of a new homeland, where the traditional elements from Slovakia are preserved. In Slovakia, they disappear sooner than in these enclaves. On the other hand, this culture is enriched by different ethnic elements of majority population and other ethnic groups as well. Gradually, the culture of the surrounding different ethnic societies starts to dominate, and processes leading to the necessary assimilation begin. Syncretism makes bilingualism a universal and a natural phenomenon in the life of every ethnic minority. One of its most important features is procedural character, a continuous stream of changes in time, resulting in changes of the state and character of bilingualism in each new generation. Bilingualism is a transitional phase of every minority and can be marked as starting point of divergent ethnocultural processes between members of the separated part and the core of the mother ethnic group. On the other hand, bilingualism becomes an important precondition and an indicator of the beginning of convergent ethnocultural processes. The speed of these processes had been influenced by the compactness of dispersion of the settlement of the minority, its integration into the agrarian or urban environment, the degree of preservation or violation of ethnic endogamy in choosing spouses, but also several other factors. The mother tongue generally, but in the case of ethnic minority especially, significantly builds, represents, and develops the collective entity of the community. In the minority surroundings of Slovaks researched by the AMLI project, we confirm the previous findings that the dialect is a sign of both ethnic and local identification, and the older generation feels ethnic awareness exactly through the dialect. Several researches in Hungary have confirmed that as a result of leaving out teaching the Slovak language, its communication function in the family had lost, and an opinion of its usefulness had occurred. For the AM project, these facts are the important motivating element for setting formal and non-formal education, so that we help to prolong the period of gradual extinction of the minority and its language in other ethnic enclaves.
The use of colloquial Slovak in the form of standard Slovak and dialects characterizes today's language situation in Vojvodina. Individual Slovak dialects has adopted different dialect elements, and due to the influence of the majority language, also some Serbian language means. Today we can talk about new comprehensive dialect forms with their own stable system. However, it must be said that even in these relatively newly created dialect systems, changes related to modifications in the non-linguistic reality are occurring. These are mainly social changes. The processes bring an intense influence of Serbian. Moreover, each individual village has its own social act, so a member of the Slovak minority in Serbia can estimate the village the speaker comes from due to his linguistic expressions. The coexistence of several ethno-linguistic communities and the use of their languages in standard and dialectal form in one common territory of Serbia lasts for several countries. According to the last census from 2011, there were 21 national communities registered in Vojvodina. Besides the first official language, Serbian, the authorities also use 5 languages of national minorities: Hungarian, Slovak, Rusin, Romanian, and Croatian. The linguistic awareness of Slovaks in Vojvodina is strong thanks to major role of developed cultural life. Slovak education, Slovak journalism, fiction writing, theater, cultural and educational societies have a long tradition here. Today Slovak is used in all communication spheres following from social roles in family, professional, confessional, everyday and public communication. These are mainly territorial and social varieties, marked by not only bilingual situation, but also by older residual contact phenomena from German and Hungarian. In Serbia, Slovak has been enriched by means of expression, creating a particular dialect. Education in mother tongue is one of the most important elements of the linguistic, cultural and national identity of Slovaks in Serbia. Education in Slovak exists at all levels of study, from elementary to postgraduate studies. Villages with Slovak as a majority language have elementary schools with Slovak as a teaching language. 2 Slovak grammar schools had a significant meaning for Slovak minority since its establishment. Cadres in the field of Slovak language and literature are represented by the Department of Slovak Studies at the Faculty of Philosophy of the University of Novi Sad, founded in 1961. Slovak is studied here as a mother tongue at all levels, bachelor, master and doctoral degree. Graduates of the Slovak language are mainly employed as teachers at Slovak schools, but also as employees of cultural institutions, publishers, media, translating organization, etc. Slovak students participate equally in all regional and national competitions. Organizations securing teaching in Slovak language have also been established.
The Slovak minority in northwestern Romania actively communicates in the Slovak language, carrying the syncretism of Slovak dialects in several layers. Due to the differences in the language core of the Slovak and Romanian language, there is no increased spreading of the Romanian vocabulary into the Slovak language. Slovak minority in northeastern Croatia has passed through the greatest degree of assimilation. The local Slovak dialects are here actively used solely by the oldest generation. Thus, we are looking for a way to use the Slovak language and its local dialects in the form of cultural activities of the Slovak minority in this country.
In public and private communication, Slovaks in Serbia use their Slovak mother tongue and writing, as well as the first official language, Serbian. They use their mother tongue in all spheres of life. The standard norm is used in the public sphere of life, while dialects are used in privacy. In Vojvodina, languages come into contact in pairs or groups because their bearers are territorially neighboring. The result of these contacts is loan word, code switching, interference phenomena, and language mixes. The Slovak language in Serbia is in direct contact with the Serbian language and with the languages of other minorities too. Due to the Slovak language in the homeland, there are both geographical and language distance. The direct influence of Serbian creates some kind of deformation of the minority language, especially at the level of vocabulary, syntax, and orthoepy. Linguistic isolationism brings a problem that shows itself in the relation of archaic-progressive. An archaic dialect that currently differs from Slovak language in Slovakia is using. Vojvodina Slovak borrows the language means from Serbian, which get into both the colloquial variety and the standard language. This pressure is caused by the socio-linguistic situation, but also from the fact that Serbian and Slovak are genetically and typologically close to Slavic languages.
In all minority surroundings, we have identified the difference between variants of the Slovak language at several levels. The official Slovak language used in the education of Slovak minorities in individual countries accepts the conditions of their country, and that is why it also differs from Standard Slovak codified in Slovakia. However, the official Slovak language in individual countries is not used in everyday communication in local surroundings, where communication in local dialects occurs. The use of the official Slovak language in each country stands as a stabilizing factor, fulfilling the function of a communication flow between Standard Slovak in Slovakia and the local dialects of the Slovak minority.
In Serbia, the use of Standard Slovak is defined by the national frameworks and communication needs of the members of the Slovak language community and is currently ensured by legal regulations. Today it fulfills an important integration and ethno-significant function. It is a form of standard minority Slovak occurring in official communication with function as a supra-dialect means of communication. It is a form of language that differs from the dialect form of Slovak. In the current development of the Standard Slovak in Vojvodina, two tendencies are noticed. The first one is respect for the codification effective in Slovakia. The second one is a respect of domestic language situation. As a result of these two tendencies, the Standard Slovak language based on the codification effective in Slovakia is developing in Serbia. However, it also acquires some specific features due to the different social and linguistic situation. When compared to its model in Slovakia, Standard Slovak in Serbia is enriched with dialect elements specific to Vojvodina colloquial variety. Standard language is developing here at cultural, art, and other social events.
Several respondents in the countries from Projekt had confirmed that the use of the mother tongue in family surroundings is an important factor for its preservation.
In all minority surroundings, we have identified an increased level of interest of the older generation in preserving the Slovak language as a bearer of Slovak traditions for younger generations outside their own families. Using the elements of intergenerational contacts, one of the results of the project would be activities aimed at mutual cooperation between the oldest and the youngest generation.
During our work, we have also identified another important goal, which is to achieve intercultural competencies. The ability to know how to get to the heart of the mentality of those who are culturally different. Support of linguistic diversity is essential for the surroundings of ethnic minorities.
In relation to local dialects, the results of the project have shown a significant degree of disproportion between the level of use of local dialects in everyday communication and the degree of their use in teaching aids and procedures.
This confirmed the original intention of IM project, which means more active use of local dialects in both extracurricular and educational activities. We have also found out that various natural opportunities of the local society, such as weddings, Christmas and Easter customs, which would build a relationship to the locality and ethnic awareness, are currently very little used in the educational process.
Respect for the principle of particularity has resulted in the formation of new models for the integration of minorities. Members of majority and minority communities are encouraged to mutual respect, recognition, and respect their own uniqueness. Moreover, cultural pluralism assumes that no culture is superior to another. Members of cultures respect each other, do not insult members of different cultures or impede the development of other cultures.
All the already stated rules and principles of pluralism are applied in multi-ethnic surroundings where we researched the language and culture of the Slovak minority enclave. As members of Slovak minorities have been an integral part of their current homeland for several centuries, mutual relations have developed on the principles of tolerance and mutual enrichment.
Members of the Slovak minority are generally considered hardworking, honest, and friendly. Members of the surrounding majority also attribute them these characteristics, regardless of the country where we studied the life of the Slovak minority.
In addition, members of the Slovak minority living abroad are much more led to respect and tolerance in the family surroundings, as it has been attributed for centuries to Slovaks living in Slovakia as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your attention.